Masshole goes down? What the what? Once biggest auditing community vanishes from Discord. De Castro on self-doxing, nope. Ignores it happened. Draws only 209 members to new First Amendment channel. Is hope lost for Team DLZ and his Patreon sites? James Freeman shows what a badass he was during the Lexington takeover. Confront policemen from behind a window. Yeah, America. Direct D and Juggernaut Jared Reed call out De Castro. Will he finally fight for his right to nah? Nope, not going to happen. Plus, Craig Hendry is making moolah from jail. Can his GoFundMe streak continue? Good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Auditing Insanity Newscast. I'm Johnny Jones, and I'll be your AI voice for most of the stories today. The auditing world was shocked as Kate Peters' Masshole server went down Wednesday night. We are still working on updates and getting sourced as to what happened. Masshole was the launching pad for this very newscast and newspaper, so if it's gone, we're heartbroken to see it go. We're going to focus on finding out facts as we ask you to focus on. Masshole Discord server goes down, latest updates. Kate Peters' Masshole Discord server was reported down about 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time Wednesday night, with no updates provided to shock fans who want to visit their favorite Discord server only to find it down. As of press time, a little before 5 a.m. Eastern Time, we have no answers. The server went down, setting off a minor panic around the Discord community, as Peters' Masshole server was the starting point for most of the major First Amendment auditing Discord servers, some which have eclipsed Peters' reach in total membership and activity in recent days. Peters' insiders have no information on the subject and seem just as puzzled as the rest of us as to why the site vanished, as there's been no word from Peters herself. The most recent live stream about the Karen Reed murder case from last weekend was pulled almost immediately after completion, as Peters said that it may conflict with a project she was involved with that could not be revealed until next year. More troubling, the Masshole report website listed in the About section of Peters' Masshole-related YouTube page, which is still up, now redirects to a porn site. It's unclear how long this has been the case, but the Masshole report site remains unreachable as of press time. The Masshole-related YouTube page and Twitter account remain active without updates. Peters' Discord server was the starting point for both ReallyCoolNews as a newspaper and Auditing Insanity's daily newscast. The paper started as a news blurb in Peters' Chili Watch forums back when the forum was so busy that it resembled a dedicated YouTube side chat rather than a static Discord forum. Despite a generous offer from Peter to join her Masshole team, we decided to go with our existing news server as the home of the newspaper, with a lesser dedicated area on Masshole server. The history of Peters' Discord server has been steeped in chaos, with major splits with such personalities as Blue Bacon, Team Skeptic, and Irish Demon launching their own dedicated servers to focus on their own needs. While not what it once was, Peters' server still served as home for most fans of her ongoing conflicts with Jose, Chili, De Castro, and Turtleboy Aiden Kearney. Peters' ongoing involvement in the Karen Reed murder trial over the past year had brought out concerns from long-term fans that her focus on the case would impact the community she worked so hard to build. With the community now apparently gone, those fans' concerns may have been justified. This is a developing story. Craig Hendry continues to profit from jail time. Jailed YouTuber Craig Hendry continues to profit from his recent bail revocation and jailing in Indiana, as he brought in $109 in new donations to his GoFundMe campaign to win Tuesday's race for the title. Hendry has been helped by Jose, Chili, De Castro's promotion of his GoFundMe and jail commissary account, turning what was a dead GoFundMe into a lucrative supply of new funding for the Indiana-based YouTuber. The activist has been in jail for nearly 2 weeks after having his bond revoked in a harassment case in Vermilion County, Indiana. Hendry spent time on his latest recorded commentary, his third released address since going to jail, critiquing the case and declaring that he'll be found innocent of the charges. In Hendry's version of the case, he was investigating the Clinton, Indiana, mayor for misdeeds, and 2 workers from the mayor's office retaliated against him by conspiring to file stalking charges in the case. He asked for his fans to attend his November 1st evidentiary hearing and his November 19, 2024, trial for the charges, going so far as to ask if Jose "Chili" De Castro could be convinced to make an appearance in court. Updating his hunger strike, Hendry said that he hadn't eaten any of the food provided by the jail in the 13 days he had been locked up. Through his viewers, De Castro and his family, he was able to come up with commissary funds and treated himself to a meal of cold rice and mackerel that he described as dog food. Unlike Christopher Denver Metro Audit's Cordova, Hendry has had the backing of seasoned activist Jose "Chili" De Castro since being taken into custody. De Castro has extensive experience in promoting people who have been jailed and is able to direct his fans to fund the commissary accounts of the people he's helping. Cordova, who has been at odds with De Castro for years now, lacks such an organized backing, which is reflected in his lack of donations when compared to Hendry, who is literally running roughshod over the GoFundMe marked with De Castro's health. Tuesday's take saw $20 go to our own ongoing expenses account, but no other action in the market even as the market expanded yesterday with the addition of Jeremiah Payne's most recent GoFundMe campaign. Hendry took a step backwards on Wednesday, without an active source of promotion, and De Castro focused on his own needs. Long Island Audits took the day with a $50 donation towards his Support the Fight Against Tyranny and Corruption campaign and $20 towards his Support Freedom Against Tyranny Together campaign. We still need your help. Despite the GoFundMe market being dead, this publication is funded by your donations along with what little we make from our YouTube channel per month. While we did achieve full monetization on YouTube, we still need help to get through monthly expenses and keeping the lights on to bring you the paper and a newscast each day. If you can afford it, please consider donating to the GoFundMe run by this very channel. All donations literally go to keeping the lights on, eating, and writing news stories to feature here and on ReallyCoolSite.org. If you can't afford to contribute, please watch the advertisements on our videos, like, share, subscribe, and comment. You can help by doing next to nothing, and we thank you in advance for pitching in. James Freeman released new footage from the so-called Lexington takeover earlier this month featuring controversial police officer Scott Walters apparently hiding behind a door in a failed attempt to hide from Freeman's camera as Freeman was filming through a window. The incident happened earlier this month and was effective a siege of the Lexington, Mississippi, police station by Freeman, Guerrilla Publishing's Run Durbin, and others in an attempt to force Officer Walters to come out and face questioning by Durbin. Walters had arrested Durbin in early October following Durbin's attempt to video record inside a courthouse in Lexington. The Lexington takeover was Durbin's idea to take over the town with First Amendment auditors until such a time that the town council decided to fire Walters. The event itself was marked by low attendance, James Freeman being the only celebrity First Amendment auditor to show up at the event, general apathy of those who attended, and confusion as what was going on in town. Durbin's attempt to expand the takeover to other towns resulted in an incident in Pearl, Mississippi, where Durbin was both arrested and suffered a heart-related incident while in police custody that resulted in his hospitalization. The event fell apart soon after, with Freeman leaving to drive another auditor home before the planned Wednesday events. Freeman's footage was a letdown to the auditor, in hindsight, as the siege of the police station did not result in what the Lexington takeover wanted, as Officer Walters was not fired by the town and would undergo retraining as a result of a complaint by Durbin. Worse yet, Durbin's longtime friendship with Auditor Sean Buckner apparently ended after a dispute between the men following Durbin's hospitalization. Buckner abandoned the Lexington takeover, stating fear of being arrested if he returned to the hospital where Durbin was recuperating at. While Freeman's take on the presented video was intended to show how powerful his group was as they converged on the police department in order to harass Walters, in the end, The group came off equally as juvenile as Walters did as he attempted to hide behind a door from Freeman's camera. More footage and lawsuits are promised by Freeman and Durbin as a result of the failed Lexington takeover.
Delete laws De Castro on self-doxing? Nope. After a day where ReallyCoolNews De Castro apparently doxed the location of his new studio in the first video posted to his new First Amendment Auditor channel, the YouTuber completely ignored the controversy as he went live from the studio later in the evening. As usual, De Castro's Tuesday evening live stream focused on the evils of police and policing in America while completely ignoring both the self-doxing and the De Castro-themed live stream going on over at Christopher Direct D. Ruff's YouTube channel. De Castro spent part of the evening focusing on fundraising for Craig Hendry, who has been in the Vermilion County, Ohio, jail for the past 2 weeks after having his bond revoked. De Castro guided his fans through the process of sending money to Hendry's commissary account again and took donations on behalf of Hendry. The YouTuber took in $173 in super chats during the event, with some of that money earmarked for Hendry's defense. Addressing Hendry's invitation for De Castro to attend his November 19, 2024, trial for harassment charges in Indiana, De Castro said he was strongly considering going. He did express that he was very busy with his First Amendment Auditor launch, however, and wondered aloud if he'd have the time to make the trip. De Castro's announced rebranding as First Amendment Auditor has seen slow progress in the 3 days the channel has been active on YouTube. Despite De Castro's 623,000 subscribers on his main channel and constant mentioning of the new channel, subscribers to the new channel are stuck at 209 as of press time. Such low numbers to De Castro's free new YouTube channel also may be a warning sign for his paid TeenDLZ.com service. When De Castro appeared on Clash with Bao, he stated that within a week he'd see hundreds of paid sign-ups for his new service followed by thousands of sign-ups in quick succession after that. The total apathy from his fans towards the new channel, as roughly 0.032% of his subscribers from his main channel have signed up to the new channel, comes on the heels of his total disaster of a Patreon launch earlier in the month. Despite massive amounts of hype, De Castro was only able to convince 52 of his subscribers to sign up for the free version of his Patreon page, with 5 of those electing to pay the base $10 a month subscription to his page. De Castro has apparently abandoned Patreon and his paying subscribers, as there are only 13 posts on the site, the majority of which are recycled YouTube shorts that he is charging $10 per view to non-members. We will have a full update on De Castro's dire numbers along with full details of his attempt at a publicity stunt in Canyon Country, California in tomorrow's edition of Auditing Insanity. Direct D. Jared Reed, call out delete laws De Castro. Showing no fear of ReallyCoolNews De Castro, 2 YouTubers have stepped up with differing challenges to the YouTuber as both Christopher Direct D. Ruff and Juggernaut Jared Reed made videos devoted to the YouTuber. Starting with Ruff's 5-hour broadcast, the YouTuber devoted almost 3 hours to providing receipts to De Castro's recent claims that he has no victims and that no one could point to anyone that he's hurt. Ruff's response was playing old videos featuring controversies including De Castro's real issues with Talib Kweli that got him kicked off of TikTok the first time. In that controversy, Benson asked Kweli to limit his thoughts on politics and racial discrimination to go back to the recording studio to make music. This was followed by De Castro's time staying in Tina Slay's house, following the death of her son, Caleb. Direct D played most of Slay's appearance from 2022 on Kate Peters' Masshole Troll Mafia YouTube channel. Slay detailed that De Castro essentially moved into her house for a week after saying he was just going to take a nap. Slay detailed the lies De Castro told her, including his claims that hundreds of people would come to a demonstration for her son, when De Castro only actually brought in one person to the event. The video was followed by San Joaquin Valley Transparency, who had an on-air argument with De Castro. Ruff's attention span fizzled after about 3 hours. During that time, he clarified that he wouldn't be putting out a dedicated video on De Castro's misdeeds, as what he presented would be enough to show De Castro as victims. Separate from Rough, YouTuber juggernaut Jared Reed also came out against De Castro, going so far as to challenge De Castro to a 10-minute wrestling match in a ring and not in a cage. The longtime YouTube and Discord user, known to many in the anti-auditing community, urged De Castro to finally put up or shut up and go through with his challenges to others to take his disputes to a cage match, the mat, or to various other arenas. De Castro has a long history of challenging those who he feels he can dominate to physical activities such as cage matches. However, the one time that someone accepted his challenge, Chad Legicator Gu of the Ironton, Ohio, police force, and an event was scheduled, De Castro suffered a knee injury and high blood pressure and was not allowed to take part in the scheduled mixed martial arts match. Since that cancelled incident, De Castro has declared himself too old to compete with anyone physically. He's avoided making challenges and admits that he is out of shape and unable to compete with anyone in a fight. Because of this, it is unclear if De Castro would ever consider taking part in the proposed event by Reed. Delete Laws begs for attention after doxing. In his first live since accidentally doxing himself on his previous released video to his new First Amendment Auditor channel, ReallyCoolNews De Castro marched between a Bank of America building and a Citibank building attempting to provoke guards into contact with him as part of a First Amendment audit Wednesday afternoon. De Castro announced that during the audit that he would be out more as part of his promotion of the First Amendment Auditor channel and his new teachings to justify what De Castro used to classify as cop-sucking as part of the First Amendment auditing process. In recent days, De Castro has claimed that the only reason he was incarcerated earlier in the year was that Justice of the Peace and Zimmerman looked at his behavior during his March 2023 arrest in Las Vegas and his behavior in the courtroom and judged him on that, rather than what he was charged with. De Castro has promoted the idea of being nice to police officers on First Amendment audits and not to engage negatively with them as a way to win at trial should an auditor be arrested. The theory being that the judge would see that the auditor was not aggressive and complied with everything the officers asked on scene, and it would serve as a get-out-of-jail card. To many the theory sounds good, but the practice is anything but entertaining. De Castro walking up and down the street, recording on his phone while remaining on the sidewalk. At one point De Castro was apparently scared by a homeless man eating his lunch as he avoided the area of the man after briefly conversing with him. It was far from the fire and brimstone confrontations that De Castro has been known for on his channel. With De Castro openly complaining that it was shadow banning and not lack of controversy that only saw a handful of viewers join his livestream. The YouTuber used the time to promote his teachings on his new First Amendment Auditor YouTube channel and his new First Amendment Protection Agency concept. The first two videos in the Protection Agency series were released soon after the end of the livestream, featuring De Castro's friends dressed in poorly fitting police outfits while complying with his teachings. De Castro himself has gone as far as to attempt to trademark the term First Amendment Auditor for use with merchandise sales. In his application, he listed several hundred products he would soon be featuring for sale once the application was granted. At the end of the audit, De Castro went into both banks and surprised employees by thanking them for not interrupting his audit. Representatives of both banks stared blankly and apparently had no idea of what he was talking about after receiving his handshake and thanks. Not mentioning his recent self-dox of his address to his YouTube fans, De Castro promised he'd return with more teachings on Thursday.
And we're back. We're still on top of the Masshole news, and we'll be providing updates at ReallyCoolSite.org as more is known, or if the server comes back up. Our team is working overtime to bring you the latest news. So if news breaks, it'll be news to Jim. On that note, updates are coming as we get them. Please keep an eye on ReallyCoolSite.org. Have a wonderful day.